When most children discover the world through a mother's embrace, Andy Hug opened his eyes to a harsh reality: abandonment. His mother, facing serious difficulties, placed him in an orphanage. Imagine the impact of that on the mind of a newborn: no family cradle, no soothing voice. And even without understanding it fully, he learned early that life demands much from those born with little. That's where he began forging his shell, not by choice, but by necessity. In a cold Swiss orphanage, where silence spoke louder than words, Andy spent his early years. Every toy was shared, every bit of affection rationed. There was no luxury, no comfort. But there was a quiet fire growing inside him, the kind only those who know pain from an early age carry. A hunger for recognition, to be someone, to not be just another forgotten child. Then, at the age of 3, someone changed the course of his story: his grandmother. The woman who reached out when the world turned its back. She wasn't just a caregiver, she was the first real bond. And it was in that new home, simple but filled with affection, that Andy began to realize he could be more than an orphan. What he didn't know was that this act of love would become the first step towards something much greater. In Andy Hug's life, his grandmother wasn't just a relative, she was a turning point. While the world saw just another child with a painful past, she saw a promising future. With patience, firmness, and a love that only someone who has lived to care for another can offer, she gave him something rare: security. In every simple meal, every peaceful night's sleep, she taught him that even after rejection, it's still possible to bloom. It was beside her that Andy had his first taste of belonging. He was no longer just the boy from the orphanage. He was the grandson of a strong, determined woman who believed in the power of discipline and respect. And with that, Andy began to transform. It wasn't an easy process. Emotional scars don't vanish overnight. But now there was a greater purpose: to repay all that love with effort and dignity. Living with his grandmother awakened something deep within him: the need to honor the one who believed when no one else did. That quiet flame growing inside him became fuel for what was to come. And it was precisely in this transition phase, from wounded childhood to a teenagehood shaped by affection, that Andy had an unexpected encounter with something that would change his life forever. Andy was just 10 years old when a friend invited him to watch a Kyokushinkaken karate training session. What he saw wasn't just fighting, it was art, a code of conduct, something that struck directly at his restless heart. The sharp strikes, the respectful silence of the dojo, the piercing cries of ki, all of it spoke to him louder than 1,000 words. For the first time, he felt he had found a place where pain could be transformed into strength. The rigor of the training didn't scare him, it fascinated him. Where others saw exhaustion, he saw redemption. Andy understood that every push-up, every kick repeated to the point of collapse, was a dialogue with his own ghosts. With each drop of sweat, he left behind the pains of childhood. And there, on the tatami, he began forging not only a strong body, but an unbreakable spirit. The orphan boy was fading, and the warrior was being born. The discipline of Kyokushin became his new home. It was where he felt valued, even when no words were spoken. It was where he received, for the first time, a genuine compliment, even if it came in the form of a simple nod from the master. Andy didn't know it yet, but that newfound passion wasn't fleeting. It was the beginning of a brutal and glorious journey that would one day lead him to face the greatest fighters in the world.